Okay, now back to our presentation. So when the teacher is presenting this particular slide, they'll go over, I have 10 kids on my caseload. 4 of them are making proficiency, making progress, positive progress towards IEP goal. And I know how they're doing. I know that they're doing it based on whether it's star assessment, classwork. Okay, and technically the method of evaluation will again be based on what the teacher has written in the child's IEP goal. Okay, therefore we will ask the teacher to leave this slide and then be prepared to go to one of the students on their caseload to demonstrate that. Okay, all right. Now the teacher would then go into the data analysis based on the data that was collected during the pre-assessment, the common assessment, and post-assessment. The question is, what did they understand and what did they not understand based on these two standards that was presented during Unit 1? Okay, well, what we are looking for is to see whether or not the teacher could clearly articulate and understood what actual skill, what prerequisite skill, what was it about that standard that the child simply could not do. Okay, now this is what I wrote as a sample. My students struggled with standard 8, expressions and exponent, A, element 3. They could not remember which direction to move the decimal when converting a large number to a small number and from a small number to a large number. So they were randomly moving the decimal to the left and to the right, not understanding that when you move the decimal to the right, the number gets bigger, and when you move the decimal to the left, the number gets smaller. Okay, now we didn't just want the child to know the direction to move the decimal. We actually wanted the child to understand a concept of a very small number and the concept of a very large number. They simply do not have an awareness of what is considered to be a very large number and what is considered to be a very small number. Okay, therefore, when converting to standard notation and scientific notation, they simply were guessing when they were moving the decimal. Okay, so that's the issue. Now, the question is, what did the teacher do about it? That's the entire essence of the intervention slide. What exactly did the teacher do about it? Well, the key word is evidence. Don't just speak about what you did, provide evidence of what the teacher did to ensure that the child got a greater understanding of that standard. Okay, point number 1. To assist the students in determining what is a small number and what is a large number, we created a lesson. First of all, we retaught the lesson, okay, doing it a different way than we did it the original presentation. Okay, we created a lesson activity to go along with that lesson called Big or Small. Okay, now as an artifact, the teacher is going. I'm going to pass out my lesson plan for that retaught lesson, and I'm going to pass out the activity that was given that as the child worked on the work period of that lesson. Okay, so I'm passing out the lesson and the actual activity. The lesson required them to determine and explain why certain quantities were considered to be large and why others were considered small. We borrowed microscopes from the science department and rulers from the math department storage room. We used this microscope and the rulers to give the child a contextual understanding of why microscopes are used. Okay, because they can see things that the natural eye can't see. So if you can't see something with your natural eye, that most likely means the item is too small to see. If it is too small, you're going to use a microscope. The goal of using the microscope is to get the child to conceptualize the idea of something extremely small. Okay, please read the lesson plan. Please read the lesson plan that has been provided. Okay, so that's my evidence. Okay, I could bring pictures of the kids using the microscopes with the activity. That is evidence. The actual activity that they that walked them through, the worksheet or whatever the activity was, that's evidence. Okay, after getting a hands-on and concrete meaning of what a large and what a small number, we moved into why moving the decimal in one direction makes the number small while moving it in the other direction makes it large. Okay, so we had several artifacts of evidence. We didn't just talk through it, we actually show the graded work from that activity with teacher commentary on it. Okay, please note this disclaimer on the bottom. Please describe the difference of how the lesson was originally taught versus how it was taught during reteaching.